Okay, so for the final part of the tutorials, we are going to add an avatar to our scene by going to the library, double clicking on avatar. In my case, I would like a female avatar. I can double click. I will select Fei Fei, so I can right click and add to workspace. If you would just click, sometimes it has the chance that it will open a new file. So I would always recommend to right click and add to workspace. You see here it would say if you would click open, it would remove the file that is currently open with a new file in which it will put your avatar. For this reason, always check what you have in the settings and click add. And here you see the position is putting it 5 by 5. And you see in this case it was 5 meters high and 5 meters to the right. I can also right click, move avatar to ground. Okay. I can right click again, move avatar to center, for example. Okay, so now I have my avatar here and I would like to drape something on my avatar. There are different ways of doing that. You could indeed start by just moving your garment piece, the material piece. And then since it's quite big, maybe I want to go to my 2D window. I can click on it. I can select it. And then you see I can scale it by clicking the corners, holding it and resizing. Okay. I could choose, for example, to just bring the material close to my avatar and turn it a bit and say drape. And I could take it from there. I will stop my simulation. I will right click, reset to the arrangement. I could also choose to work with 3D arrangement. So I go here with the little head with an eye and the second option with the blue dots, show arrangement points. That's what I can use to position it on my avatar. So I have my pattern piece selected. If I click now on this blue dot, now it's put on my avatar. Okay, now I'm gonna simulate. But maybe I don't really like how it looks. I can stop my simulation, and maybe when you're making some more complicated patterns, it can be annoying to have to reposition everything. And this is where the 3D arrangement comes in place. You can right click, reset 3D arrangement, and it will be the same position that it was before you did the simulation. I'm gonna right click, reset to the arrangement, because I would like to move my pattern piece here closer to the avatar to show you the next tool, which is to tack on avatar. So I hold click and select tack on avatar. I recommend that you zoom, because the best is to click on the fabric and be sure that you have touched the avatar. If you look around, yes, it really touched the avatar. Also, for this step, please make sure that your fabric isn't on the other side of the space, because that will mean it might go through other fabrics and will make it possibly crash. And then you can simulate, click space, and you see now the fabric has been tacked to your avatar. This is handy if maybe when you're making your design. You can also click stop in between the simulation, and maybe I like where it is here, so I can select the second one and tack it on the avatar. But please keep in mind that tacking on avatar is not a sewing method. It really is to keep something in place, maybe when the avatar is being simulated or animated. If you would like to work with some tacking generally to the material, you could still do one point on the material and the second point, and then simulate and bring this together. But please remember that the best way, or the way I would recommend to do this, is to really stick your points together like we did in the exercise over here, and you can see it on top. So try to find what is more fitting to your goal, because here is a small detail which can help with the draping, but here, depending on the structure, it might be a better desired result. So it's a play in between these different pieces. So now you've seen how to tack on avatar, to tack materials together, and how to do the 3D arrangement. The last step would be that I like this garment. Right now I have all these different shapes in here. My recommendation is that when you're working with a file, do it through steps and save different stages at different versions, because in my case I could now stop my simulation, and if I would like to, I could remove all of these garments because I want to save my garment to the library. I click on the garment, I go to File, Save As Garment, and you see here it will go right away, Assets and Garment within Clo, and I can name it Draped Dress. I click Save. When I go back to here, the garment in the library, I double click, and you see now that my draped dress is in there. So I could technically select a new avatar, for example, double click, add, and I need her to move a bit to the other side because I don't want them to be on top of each other. And then I right click on the avatar, move to ground, and I want also to get her dressed. So I go to garment, the drape, and add. I knew the where I put my other model, so I can do this. I maintain the size, okay. Right click, move to ground. And what you see here is what we want to prevent while using the tack. Because now I save the garment, but it's still tacked on my original avatar. This is why we recommend to only use the tacking when you are further along and you're preparing the avatar for the animation. But in this case, we know which pattern piece it is, so you could still remove the tacking. So this is the pinning, this is the tack garment pieces, and these black dots are the tacking onto the avatar. To remove them, I can select on this pin with the arrow, and you see right away it shows up. I can select it, right click, delete. I can select the next one, right click, delete. and this one still has it tagged on her. So if I would like to still tag on avatar, then I could select this one and have her own tagging lines. Enter, and I can simulate, and they both have their own version of the dress now. For your further experiments, what you could do now is you can stop your simulation by clicking space or turning off the arrow, and you could go back to the selection tool so that you're leaving the pin box, and you could go and play around with the different fabrics to see how the different materials are working for your avatar. Altogether, now you are able to pin on the avatar, so you can tag the materials on the avatar. You're also able to tag the materials within the pattern piece, and you're able to simulate the garment so that it's draping how you would like it to look. And lastly, you're able to save the garment in your garment library.